therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 463-251-1912. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 463-251-1912. That's 463-251-1912.
Attention Indiana homeowners, are you dealing with a wet and moldy crawl space? Hi, I'm Adam Swain with Swain Co. Crawl Space and Basement Repair, your real, local, Indiana family-owned experts dedicated to fixing your crawl space right the first time. And with our new no interest, no payment financing, you can get the repairs you need without breaking the bank. Don't let crawl space water problems dampen your spirits. Call Swain Co., Indy's most trusted waterproofing experts at 317-407-1868 or swaincollc.com.
We know to contact Indiana 811 at least 2 working days before every dig. But did you know spraying a white line around your digging area means utility flags will be placed only in that area? Fewer flags in the yard? Easier mowing? Everybody wins.
Except for my kid.
I don't want to mow the yard.
Contact Indiana 811 and white line before every project. It's the only way to dig. Learn more at 811.safedigindiana.com.
Sponsored by the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission and aired by this station.
Advent is now open in Indianapolis and Avon. Find out more at adventknows.com.
Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Do you need furnace or heat pump service and want to work with a local independent dealer you can trust, like B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical? Find that American Standard Air dealer at IndyHomeComfort.com.
Tony Katz.
It's Kendall and Casey.
The Hammer and Nigel show. All right, well, when does your show start? Do we know? I feel like I've been promoting this for 9 years now.
This is the Tony Kinnett Cast on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back, Indianapolis, to another edition of the Tony Kinnett Cast. I am your proud fill-in host, Ethan Hatcher, from Saturday Night on the Circle. You can tune into my program every weekend on Saturday from 7 to 9, filling in this evening, and happy to be here. Before we get to the meat of the show, first, your quick news roundup. Oh.
News on the march.
This week, after years of waiting for a resolution to the Delphi murders, the trial came to a close with a guilty verdict on all 4 counts against Richard Allen. The next stage is sentencing in December, but many who followed the case are displeased with the ruling, and his defense team vows to appeal. After the stupendous Donald Trump election victory, liberal women across the country are melting down in spectacular fashion, with few level heads stopping to ponder the reasons for this stunning defeat. In an embarrassing packaging mix-up, the toy company Mattel has issued a recall and an apology after the dolls for the Wicked musical movie took children to an unsavory alternative website. All that and more for tonight's Tony Kinnett Cast. This has been your Quick News Roundup.
News on the march.
All right, for the first segment, I wanted to get into the Delphi ruling, which was handed down this week, and I was honestly stunned that they came back with a guilty verdict on all 4 counts, 2 murder and 2 kidnapping charges against Richard Allen, despite the relatively solid doubts that the defense team were able to poke into the prosecution's case at every step along the way. And, you know, this is a free-form discussion, but I thought it would be beneficial for you and I to have this conversation of just exactly how much reasonable doubt existed. And let's start with what the state rested their entire entire case on the only alleged physical piece of evidence to link Richard Allen to the scene of the crime, which was the infamous unspent bullet, which was found next to the girls' bodies. This is very significant because the state's experts claimed that tool marks, which were made when the casing was ejected from the slide, could be matched to Richard Allen's firearm. The only problem with this, and it was pointed out by the defense, who brought on their own experts to testify, the state fired bullets to match to the unspent bullet casing, and then once those bullets were ejected, they claimed it was a match. But they could not produce the same tool markings without firing the bullet. So this is an apples to oranges comparison, because the state's own experts, the state's own testing, was unable to produce the tool marks that they say Richard Allen achieved on his own by merely ejecting the bullet without it having been spent. The other interesting thing about this bullet, anybody who knows firearms knows when you're loading it into a magazine, generally those are pushed in with your finger or your thumb. They're loaded in there, and there was no fingerprint of Richard Allen's nor any other physical evidence at the scene. No DNA evidence, no bodily fluids that were left behind. Again, a significant detail, because much of this, I feel, was rested on the multiple confessions he made while in custody. And yes, he confessed to murdering the girls, but he also confessed to sexually assaulting the girls. And yet there was no physical evidence left behind, no DNA evidence to corroborate that claim. You have to take every element seriously. He claimed to have disposed of the murder weapon behind CVS, but they were never able to retrieve the murder weapon. They were never able to tie him to the scene. Additionally, the information that we discovered late in the trial of the cell phone that was plugged into potentially under the body of one of the girls, it was accessed the headphone jack late in the afternoon and then again in the middle of the night. And if that was the case, Richard Allen specifically would be ruled out because he was nowhere in the vicinity at the time. Now, you want to get into some of the evidence that was excluded. I mean, Judge Fran Gall is appalling because every ruling seemed to go against the defense team, preventing them in many cases or from being able to present the defense that they wished. They were unable to include Odinism as an alternative theory, even though during the course of the trial, Odinism was brought up because of the symbols and the posing of sticks and twigs on the girl's body and then in the general vicinity could potentially have ties to Odinism, and yet Judge Fran Gall ruled that out. She also prevented the defense team from including geo-tracking data that showed other cell phones in the vicinity of the girls when the murder was said to have taken place. So there is just layers, heaps and piles of reasonable doubt that was written all over this case, and yet the jury came back with a guilty verdict. Now, how I would love to be a fly on the wall and hear their deliberation. And we won't know details of that for quite some time yet, because Judge Fran Gall continues to abet and aid the lack of transparency by continuing the gag order surrounding the case. So we won't hear any input from the jury members who helped decide, who made this decision, likely until well after the sentencing in December. And Richard Allen's defense team has vowed that they will appeal, but it was so vitally important to get the trial right the first time, because anybody who follows criminal cases and things of this nature knows rarely when these cases go to appeal is the conviction overturned. It's a fractional chance at this point that Richard Allen has. And I can't say with 100% certainty that he didn't do it. I can't say with any certainty that he did do it, but I do think that there is enough reasonable doubt to prevent a conviction from going forward. Now, obviously, the jury members disagreed with me in that case. And again, I think because they requested at a certain point to review the confession tapes once again, that must have been what they found to be most compelling, in spite of the fact that the defense team had offered up witness testimony. The prison guards themselves admitted to having drugged him with psychotic medication that causes you to be delirious, that could cause anyone, especially in conjunction with having been put in solitary confinement for in excess of a year, 13 months. It would make anyone go crazy. And then, to combine that with medication that is designed to put you out of your mind, I'm not sure how the testimony could be especially compelling, especially when they seem to circumvent or ignore the original testimony that he had offered when he was of sound mind and body to police, where he denied having anything to do with the killings and didn't want to be the fall guy. And in the original interview, offered up his own DNA evidence in order to rule him out as a suspect. That doesn't seem like the behavior of a guilty man, unless he was so, absolutely overconfident in his own criminal ability that he knew, in spite of committing this heinous crime, he left zero DNA evidence behind at the scene. This is so far-fetched. Let's also talk about the witnesses who couldn't agree on the description of Bridge Guy. Again, that was an important element in the prosecution's case. They contended that Bridge Guy was the killer and that Richard Allen was Bridge Guy. But the witnesses that they invited onto the stand offered conflicting testimony of what exactly he looked like, whether he was tall with poofy red hair or whether he was short with long brown hair. Neither description matches Richard Allen, who's had short, stubby hair dating back to his time in the military for, what was it, more than 30 years at this point, 40 years. So none of this adds up. None of this adds up. And I understand the desire of the community to put this terrible chapter in their history behind them, but not at the expense of convicting potentially an innocent man. And I will be following this case as it continues to develop in the near future. I anticipate the defense team to make an appeal for the case, but whether or not it will be overturned on that appeal remains to be seen, and it is statistically incredibly unlikely. But I was flabbergasted by the verdict of the jury, and I'm not sure in this case that justice was served, because in my opinion, it seemed, and many others, I mean, I'm far from alone in this analysis. In the opinion of many others, it seems like there was overwhelming reasonable doubt to prevent conviction, and yet here we are. It's an unfortunate and surprising development, but hopefully justice will be found. Thanks for listening to the Tony Kinnett Cast. Ethan Hatcher filling in. Stay tuned for more on 93 WIBC.
$182,000.
What?
Yeah, $182,000. According to CBS News, the average American loses out on an average of $182,000 in Social Security income. And it's because they filed for their benefits, Rob, at the wrong time.
Learn how you could avoid this with a free Social Security analysis from Bill Demery, your retirement guy in Indy.
We trust Bill to help with planning for our retirement, and you can too.
This free analysis could help you get the most income from Social Security while considering the impact on your spousal benefits, taxes, IRAs, and 401k withdrawals, and Medicare premiums.
If you've saved more than $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis by calling 317-932-9912.
Don't lose $182,000 in Social Security income that's rightfully yours.
Call 317-932-9912. That's 317-932-9912.
Hi, this is Denny Smith, and I asked my wife this morning why women don't want to get their carpets cleaned. She said they absolutely do want to get their carpets cleaned, but they just don't want the hassle. I get it. Nobody wants to have to move furniture, worry about people that they don't know coming into the house, worrying about the chemicals they're using, and then waiting around for things to dry. I get it. But that's not Zero Res. And with their Gotta Love It guarantee, they're going to make sure it's a great experience that you'll never, ever regret. There is nobody better at cleaning than Zero Res. Right now, get 3 rooms Zero Resified starting at just $129 and $75 off air duct cleaning too. That's a $40 savings on the carpet cleaning. The Zero Res service is easy to line up, and you can go online at ZeroResIndy.com to do the scheduling at your convenience. Just call them and mention WIBC. It's Zero Res. Call 317-388-5141 or book things online at ZeroResIndy.com. That's zeroresindy.com.
Discover cancer care that empowers you at Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center by offering the expert, compassionate care you need.
When I was at my lowest, I would have 2 or 3 nurses come in to give me a pep talk, telling me it's okay to feel this way. It's normal, but you have us to support you and you will get through this.
Learn more at ecommunity.com/cancer.
Real stories with Hellsberg.
I had the ring already. She had made it very clear what kind of ring she wanted.
Yep.
I pretended that I was going to kneel and picked up a pine cone instead of pulling out a ring.
What a jerk. But when I saw that ring, I was like, oh, he did good.
I really love Amy. I really, really genuinely love Amy.
I love you too.
At Hellsberg, find the engagement ring worthy of your story. Designed with the love, care, and craft it deserves. Visit a Hellsberg store or hellsberg.com.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
Maintenance is going to drastically increase the efficiency and performance of your system. It's also going to significantly improve the longevity of it. People think that they are saving money by skipping their maintenance, and in reality, they're just shaving years off the life and increasing the consumption of that unit, spending a lot more in the long term.
Get your tune-up today at Family Heating and Air, your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
A true partner in your health dedicates time to understanding your needs. At CenterWell Senior Primary Care, doctors make one-on-one time with you a priority, so you can get all your questions answered and feel more confident in your health care. See how it feels to have a team of senior care experts working together to help you feel your best. CenterWell, it's about time. Schedule a tour today at meetcenterwell.com. That's meetcenterwell.com.
An official message from Medicare.
Medicare plans change from one year to the next. And this year, it's important for you to review your current coverage and compare all your options during Medicare open enrollment. Compare health plans, drug coverage, and costs. See if you can save some money, and don't forget to make sure your drugs are covered. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Visit Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Wealth-changing question. Has your advisor created a portfolio based only on your age and risk tolerance? That's simply not good enough. Your money deserves better, and so do you. At Creative Planning, our private wealth managers learn about you first, and then they create a customized plan and portfolio by partnering with our in-house money managers, accountants, and attorneys. Don't settle for a standard portfolio. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
PA Jewelers is your must-shop store for Black Friday and Small Business Saturday. PA Jewelers already has fine jewelry and gemstones discounted 70% below the box stores. Now, on Black Friday and Small Business Saturday, you get 10% off everything PA Jewelers sells. Estate jewelry, watches, and jewelry from local artists. Visit PA Jewelers inside Premier Arms, 3754 South Green Street in Brownsburg, 317-858-3030, or online at premierarms.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Family Heating and Air, your American Standard air dealer in Indianapolis.
It's the Tony Kinnett Cast on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to the Tony Kinnett Cast. This is Ethan Hatcher, your fill-in host, joined by producer Corbin on the board, beep, 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 pushing the buttons and doing the things to make the show function. First segment, we talked about the travesty of justice that I believe the Delphi verdict was, and we got into some of the details about the what I believe are mountains of reasonable doubt. If you want to go back and listen to that conversation, of course, we are streaming the show live on the YouTube machine, and it will be collected there after we're done with the broadcast. But feel free in the meantime to hop in the comments section while we are broadcasting the show. What I wanted to talk about in this segment, of course, was some more of the fallout from the 2024 election, the Trump landslide victory. And some people, Corbin, particularly women, are not taking this very well. I have seen, and I want to further delineate that to be liberal women, because 45% of all women voted for Donald Trump. So it wasn't, this in the bag battle of the sexes that liberals wanted to portray it as. And that's part of the reason I think Donald Trump won, was because of this identity politics where liberals, they don't see individuals, they see demographics. And just because you have boobs and a vagina, they think that you must all think and feel the same way, which is incredibly sexist if you think about it, and also incredibly racist, as the same applies to black people, Hispanic people. They kind of all group them in these demographics, and they don't see past that. They don't see that individuals are motivated by different things, and their backgrounds are different, which lead them to different conclusions. Now, here was a liberal woman who made, like I was saying, she's reacting to the 2024 election loss, and because these liberals see people by their demographic, she makes some shockingly racist conclusions about what's going to happen as a result of the Trump victory. Let's take a listen to this, Corbin.
So your lawn maintenance is about to skyrocket because 90% of workers in the lawn maintenance industry, they come from Mexico. And whether they're here legally or not, Stephen Miller, who Trump's going to put in charge of his mass deportation project, is going to deport them. They're also going to deport people who are naturalized citizens.
No, they're not.
These are jobs that Americans will not do, okay? American families are not letting their young adults work in the lawn maintenance industry. These companies may be owned by Americans, but their employees are from Mexico. So not only will it be harder to find a company, the prices are going to double and triple. And this is going to affect a lot of other industries. It's going to affect our food supply and the housing industry, because I don't know if you know this, but there's not a lot of Americans lining up to haul cement in and out of buildings. So good luck.
Stop racist!
Oh, well, I see you giving me a look there, producer Corbin. I see you getting cross-eyed. Isn't that absolutely wild that she thinks all of your lawn care providers come from Mexico and white people don't haul concrete? I can disprove that, Corbin. I haul concrete. That's one of the things I do at my job.
I can disprove that too, Ethan, because that's one of the things I do outside of this building.
Right. I mean, my brother worked in lawn care. My best friend worked in lawn care at a business that was owned and operated by a Caucasian man. He was Caucasian. Like, there are plenty of Caucasians and white people who do quite well in the lawn care industry. And I feel like I shouldn't have to point that out, except for the fact that these liberal women evidently think that all of the Mexicans are lawn care service providers or cabbage pickers. Oh, well, you can't have people working in the farm fields if they're not illegal. But what is this kind of thinking? This was a conversation that I was having with our executive producer, Matt Hiblin, off the air before I did the show. He made, I think, an astute observation and a great way to describe the problem here, because liberals, you can have two guys, and both of them are named Miguel, right? Miguel A, he lives up on the north side in Fishers in a large multi-room family home. He has 3 kids, 2 girls, 1 boy. He's happily married, devoutly religious, and he owns his own business, and earns a 6-figure income. And then you have Miguel B, who lives on the far east side of Indianapolis, who's making less than $30,000 a year, who's an atheist, who's unmarried, who has no children. And when liberals see Miguel A and Miguel B, they don't see them as individuals who have different socioeconomic backgrounds, different things that would interest them. They just see their racial demographic, and therefore, both of these must think the same way. Both of these people must think the same way. And that's a really gross way to think about people and to divide people. And people have had enough of it. People are sick of it. Before the election on the Young Turks, which is a far left podcast, here was Anna Kasparian, who was starting to put together the dots in real time of why Donald Trump was able to win in spite of the things that he said that, many people in the media classify as offensive that would traditionally sink other campaigns, but floated Donald Trump to victory. Why, oh, why could that be?
Donald Trump is the middle finger manifested in human form. And I think that the individuals who support him, they might support him for other reasons as well, but I do think that one of the dominant reasons is that it's giving a middle finger to our political establishment, to our institutions. And a lot of Americans feel like those institutions and the political establishment has let them down, whether we're talking about the Democratic establishment or the Republican establishment.
Correct. People are sick of the race hustle. They're tired of being called an ist and a phobe for offering simple disagreements on a point of view. They are tired of being controlled by these words, and that is why Donald Trump was able to float to victory. He is the embodiment of the middle finger and all of the nastiness that digit entails. That's why it fundamentally didn't matter. Democrats kept hemming and hawing about, oh, he said this, X, Y, and Z, and that's offensive, and therefore you shouldn't vote for him. But they overlooked the fact that was exactly the intensity of the message that voters wanted to send. They wanted to extend that middle digit all the way up to the establishment, and they did through a Donald Trump victory. They also wanted to extend that middle digit to individuals like this. Here was a liberal woman in the state of New York absolutely unloading on the gas station attendant, calling him unintelligent, calling him this, that, and the other, 6th grade education. Listen to how insulting this woman was, and felt completely entitled and empowered to behave this way because of her political beliefs.
This whole country is mentally ill. This whole country is mentally ill. It's going to be better than ever. Yeah, because you're a racist piece of and you can't wait. You know what? When your Social Security is gone, you ugly piece of shit, you'll be the last one laughing, not the rest of us. Oh my God, I know you can barely read, and you probably got a 6th grade level of education, you piece of shit. But I can tell the only joke around here is you, and look in the mirror.
This is exactly why Trump got elected, for crazy people like you.
I'm not crazy, okay? All right? I'm worried about the women in this country. I know you can't care because you're going to go back and drink your beers in your truck and not give a shit about anybody but yourself. But the rest of us have to deal with your dumb shit that you did to the rest of this.
Maybe try low-fat milk.
You're lucky I don't swing you in your face, you ugly piece of shit.
How to talk to a feminist. Let's begin.
So the history of feminism.
Be quiet.
Actually...
Shut up. Shut up.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you should be drinking the low-fat milk. Oh, great comeback, great way to diffuse a tense situation. But people are tired of that kind of behavior. People are tired of that entitlement and that insanity. And I'll give you a local example of the insanity. Of course, this wasn't a reaction to the election, but these are definitely, the way Democrats think and the kind of behavior that I think turned people off of electing Democrats in this cycle. Right on the corner, close to where I live on the northwest side, it's a itty-bitty little park on the east side of Indianapolis, close to the intersection of Emerson and Washington. And it's basically a nothing park on the corner right next to Pleasant Run, where there's a creek that passes through. And it had gotten overgrown in recent years, and of course a homeless camp moves in. And the police recently cleared out the homeless camp, cleared out the trash, and city services came by to clear away the brush and then make sure that it doesn't reestablish itself anytime in the near future. And the liberals of Irvington, particularly the liberal women of Irvington, were utterly distraught at law and order. How could you do this to these poor, unfortunate people? And police officers had more than 24, at least recent reports of break-ins, of criminal activity. They're defecating in the creek. They're leaving trash everywhere. They're trashing up the park. They're leaving behind needles, which are dangerous for people and children who are near the bus stop that's right around the corner across from the gas station there. This is a recipe for disaster. And the liberals were so, the hand-wringing, the pearl pearl clutching. How could you do this to these poor, disparate individuals? And people are tired of it. People want to return to law and order, to common sense, and the bleeding heart bullcrap isn't getting you very far these days. Thanks for listening to the Tony Kinnett cast. Ethan Hatcher from Saturday Night on the Circle filling in. Stay tuned for more on 93 WIBC.
Holidays will be here before we know it. Maybe you've already started shopping for someone on your list. AAA Hoosier Motor Club inviting you to join them, help make sure some local kids in need get gifts through the Toys for Tots program. AAA giving you the chance to send a holiday message of hope to Central Indy's less fortunate kids.
And as a thank you for donating to Toys for Tots, current AAA members will receive 25% off any merchandise in the travel store or adding someone to your AAA membership featuring their fabulous 24/7, 365 days a year roadside assistance for just $25. And non-members who donate will have the opportunity for early access to a special holiday offer, a classic AAA membership for just $50. Help local children in need this holiday season and secure your peace of mind with a AAA membership. Donate to Toys for Tots at AAA. Visit AAA.com or find the AAA store near you.
Jesus said, "I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life." C.S. Lewis said for Jesus to make these claims means he was either a liar, a lunatic, or Lord. Who is Jesus to you? Join us at Life Church as we journey through the book of John to explore who Jesus said he was and who he is. You can go to lifechurchin.com for campus locations and service times. Getting this one right matters.
Planning to propose this holiday? Shane Company is ready to help you find your dream engagement ring. We handpick the most beautiful diamonds and colorful gemstones in all shapes and sizes. So when you walk in the door, you can trust your rock is in stock. At Shane Company, we've always sourced directly, cut out the middleman, and pass the savings on to you. We work with your budget, not against it. We'll also protect your ring for life with our free unmatched lifetime warranty. Come see us at shaneco.com and in-store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577.
Service today?
Today.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Rob. Right now, schedule your free in-home estimate. For every 2 windows you buy, you get the next 2 free, plus 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years. Restrictions apply. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Mommy, want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with Dayquil VapoCool. It's Dayquil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let Mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is Dayquil VapoCool.
Dayquil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
In the fight against lung cancer, it's game on, game strong. Franciscan Health leads the way with robotic technology to find and treat cancer sooner. Our entire team of multidisciplinary experts let cancer know it's hard to play against us. Franciscan Health is changing the game for lung cancer patients. Schedule a consultation or second opinion today. Visit franciscanhealth.org/lung cancer care.
The Tony Kinnett Cast on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to the Tony Kinnett Cast. I'm Ethan Hatcher filling in. Now, would imagine most of the WIBC audience probably isn't too big into musicals, but one of the more popular musicals to debut in recent years, and no, I'm not talking about Hamilton, was of course Wicked. Now I say recent years, but I mean it's been on for what, a couple decades now. When did that first hit Broadway? But anyway, it's been fairly popular. It's done well, and finally the production is being adapted into a movie. And I guess this is a background prequel that explores the relationship of the Wicked Witch of the East and the Wicked Witch of the West from The Wizard of Oz, and gives them a nice little background story. Suffice to say, Mattel was enlisted to produce toys for this production. Lots of little girls out there, of course, would love to buy dolls of the Wicked actresses, Ariana Grande and was it Cynthia? Can't remember her last name. Elvore, whatever. Doesn't matter. The point is, Mattel is enlisted to make dolls of these wonderful actresses, and on the bottom of them, they were supposed to direct you to the Wicked movie, as you would expect. And it did direct you to a website. I mean, they got that much right.
Toy maker Mattel is apologizing for a wicked mistake. A web link on the packaging for 2 dolls promoting the new movie Wicked was actually a link to a porn site. It was apparently a typo that left out some letters from the movie's website. Mattel said, "We deeply regret this unfortunate error. Parents are advised that this misprinted, incorrect website is not appropriate for children. Consumers are advised to discard the product's packaging or obscure the link."
I guess I just picked a whole bouquet of oopsie daisies.
Oh my goodness, producer Corbin. Oh my goodness. It was supposed to go to wickedmovie.com, and it just directed you to wicked.com. Now, I wasn't aware of this, but I was telling a friend before I got onto the show about this mix-up and this hilarious story, and I'm like, oh, and guess what? The website directed them to wicked.com. And he's like, oh yeah, the porn production company. And I look over and I'm like, oh, he's like, yeah, they're like one of the most widely known porn producers in the industry. They've done hundreds of movies. I guess they've won awards in their own industry, being recognized for their pornographic material. And so this is apparently like a commonly known thing to people who are inside the industry. And how this oversight was made is just, I mean, you can see how the mistake happened, but the fact that it did happen is extra hilarious. And it also happened to an Indiana resident who bought one of these dolls for his family member, and fortunately decided to visit the website ahead of time because he wanted to buy some tchotchke or advertising minutes on the website. And then, oh, hey-oh, this has nothing to do with the movie. This is a completely different website. So yeah, now Mattel has issued apologies. They are asking for parents to destroy the packaging or return the doll for an exchange. My advice would be anybody who has this, keep it. And as a matter of fact, I would go out to your nearest retailer and check and see if they still have the misprint, because this is going to be a collector's item. Like any kind of misprint or things like that, it instantly increases the value in the collector community. So hold on to that for a few years. Go buy your wicked.com pornographic Mattel dolls, and then maybe you can get a little value on the resale. In other news, this was a hilarious moment caught on camera, an exchange between Peter Ducey and Karine Jean-Pierre. This is, I think, another reason why people are tired of the left. They're tired of being micturated upon and told that it's raining. They're tired of being urinated on and then told that it's raining. Here's Karine Jean-Pierre. She is denying that there's any level of awkwardness between Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. What? Just after a stunning landslide defeat after the man you say is literally Hitler? There's no awkwardness in a follow-up meeting there. What are you talking about? Says Karine Jean-Pierre.
We know that today, a week after the election, President Biden and Vice President Harris had a private lunch. How awkward was that?
I don't even understand. Why would it be awkward?
Because
the
president got squeezed out for her, and then she kept him at arm's length, and then she lost, and now she's back.
Why would you characterize it as awkward? They have regular lunches. They meet and talk regularly. Why would you
So there's
call it awkward?
weirdness about the way that things have unfolded.
Did you
since
see
July
them?
21st.
Did you see them together yesterday as well when they honored our veterans and were together during the day, making sure that we didn't forget the brave men and women that fought for this country? Did you see them together yesterday? Did you see the show of force together? This is. Look, I'm not even going to take the premise of the question. What I will say is the president and the vice president had lunch today. They've had lunch many times. They have, they communicate with each other regularly.
Shite. Oh, yes. That's shite.
So nobody believes you, Karine Jean-Pierre. Nobody is buying that. And as a matter of fact, talking about events that just happened at the Veterans event on Veterans Day, you saw footage of Vice President Kamala Harris being totally given the cold shoulder by Joe Biden, who wouldn't so much as acknowledge her presence, would not give her a handshake, would not look in her general vicinity. I mean, if the absence of looks could kill, Kamala Harris would be a dead woman, because Joe Biden was having absolutely none of it. And I can only imagine the Bidens thinking to themselves, and I believe Donald Trump is also scheduled to meet with Joe Biden. And I imagine he would say, and maybe we'll find this out, but if I were him, I would look at the old man and say, yeah, you know, if you would have ran, I probably would have had a tougher time winning the election. Just rub it in, put a little extra salt in the wound. But here, again, the Democrats pretending that the elephant in the room doesn't exist. And again, people are tired of being talked down to. They're tired of being called an istophobe for disagreeing politically, or for making a joke that the left objects to because of their own moral proclivities. And the best way to stand up to it is by not giving an inch, not caving in, not apologizing. When you have not said anything for which to apologize, then there is no need. And of course, I'm referring to comedian Tony Hinchcliffe, who was really raked over the coals by the media after the Trump Madison Square Garden event for a joke he made about Puerto Rico, in which he referred to the country as garbage. Now, anybody who'd been following the media and anybody who actually gives a damn about Puerto Rico would have already known that the country is facing a refuse problem. Their landfills literally overrunning, and the country is trying to find a way to deal with that issue. And Tony Hinchcliffe, being a comedian, managed to make a joke out of it. Now, the media said this was racist. The media said that, it showed the true heart and the hate that Trump supporters held in their hearts. And none of it was true. And here was Tony Hinchcliffe responding in the best way possible.
Last night, I gave a speech. I don't know if you've heard about this. It was a speech about free speech, believe it or not. And I'm currently under attack. I'm the news. I don't know if you guys know this, but on my speech on free speech, I referenced Puerto Rico, which currently has a landfill problem in which all of their landfills are filled to the brim. I guess I'm the only person that knew about this, unfortunately. And with that said, I just want to say that I love Puerto Ricans. They're very smart people. They're smart. They're street smart. And they're smart enough to know when they're being used as political fodder.
Exactly.
And right now, that is happening. And I apologize to absolutely nobody. Not to the Puerto Ricans, not to the whites, not to the blacks, not to the Palestinians, not to the Jews, and not to my own mother, who I made fun of during the set. Nobody clipped that. No headlines about me making fun of my own mother. Perhaps that venue at that time wasn't the best place to do this set at. But in any matter, to the mainstream media and to everybody trying to slander me online. That's what I do. I go hard, and that's never going to change.
Oh, man. That was totally wicked!
And if you look to other comedians who have also not given an inch, they've done very well, like Ricky Gervais, like Dave Chappelle. And when the woke mobs came for them, they didn't apologize. And it's a good thing that Tony Hinchcliffe didn't either, because when you cave to the istophobes, they make these arguments in bad faith. As he pointed out, it was a selectively and deceptively edited clip to impugn his character based on a 30-second offhand comment in the same set where he was also mocking his mother. So clearly these were all meant in jest, and, you know, the libs need to shut up and simmer down. Thanks for listening to the Tony Kinnett Cast. Final segment coming up. You won't believe what a silly government regulation forced Costco to do. It's a mess, and I'll tell you about it coming up next.
The Pacers are ready to make another deep run in the Emirates NBA Cup.
Rebound Jackson, Pacers run. Mathurin pulls up and hits a three.
It's the first of two home Emirates NBA Cup games on Lucas Oil Family Night.
This Friday's Lucas Oil Family Night when your Pacers meet the Miami Heat. The Pacers tip off their run at the Emirates NBA Cup, and you can enjoy Family Night tickets, including a Pacers hat, hot dog, chips, and small Pepsi product. Tickets at Pacers.com/family. Pacers Heat, Friday at 7.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone.
Done.
By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
It's a bully that will not let up until you do something about it. And the worst part is that the bullying happens when you're at your most vulnerable. You might as well have your hands tied behind your back while that bully puts one hand over your mouth and pinches your nose with the other. He'll let up, let you catch your breath, and then he'll do it again. Sleep apnea is a bully. Not long ago, we heard our friend John tell you about how his bully was stopping his breathing in his sleep over 145 times an hour. Think about what that can do to your body's organs. It's no wonder that the snowball effects of long-term obstructive sleep apnea are heart disease, stroke, even depression and anxiety. But this problem is solvable, and we have solutions, and you'll be surprised at how simple they are.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. It's time to put that bully in his place. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows. When you breathe well, you live better.
AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
We set out to be the very best of the best, and past couple years we've actually achieved that. For all of the state of Indiana, we've been awarded the Dealer of the Year award twice now. Unlike other brands, that only gets handed to one dealer every year, and we're very proud to have won that twice.
Put the best to work for you at FamilyHVAC.net. Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Custom home builder Joiner Homes is kind of a one-stop shop. Every stage of the process is done in one location, from picking the perfect home site to selecting the ideal floor plan. Their architecture team will create a set of custom blueprints and then on to the design studio where customers personalize every detail of their new home. A dedicated project manager then oversees the home construction through completion. Joiner Homes will build you the most beautiful custom home. 5-star Google reviews galore. Visit joinerhomes.com.
Earn, save, grow. It's time your money works harder and goes further with a Stockyards Bank and Trust CD. For a limited time, earn 5.15 annual percentage yield with our 5-month CD special. Proudly serving our communities since 1904. Visit any of our 5 Indianapolis area locations or syb.com/IndyCD today and experience the Stockyards Bank difference. $10,000 minimum balance required. Limited time offer. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go.
The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Hey, it's Rob Kendall. Join me November 21st at Hi-Fi, a celebrity bartender toast to Moselle Sanders, powered by Jack Daniels. I'll be one of the local celebrities creating a unique craft cocktail for you to enjoy. But here's the twist. You get to be the judge of who created the best cocktail. Not only will you have a great time tasting unique drinks, but you'll also be supporting the Moselle Sanders Foundation. Your tickets starting at just $20 helps us reach our goal of $10,000 to feed 10,000 people this Thanksgiving. Don't miss out. Get your tickets now at hifiindy.com.
Did you get a heating and air conditioning quote that you're just not sure of? Give us a call for a free second opinion.
317-577-8077 for Family Heating and Air, your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
This is the Tony Kinnett Cast on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to the final segment of the Tony Kinnett Cast. This has been Ethan Hatcher filling in. Thanks for joining me with producer Corbin on the board, beep, 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 pushing the buttons and doing the things to make the show function. As a capstone to the wonderful evening that we've shared, I wanted to point out to you an egregious government overreach, a perfect example of the ridiculous levels of control and regulation over the most minute and incredibly insipid details imaginable. This relates to Kirkland signature brand butter that was sold at Costco. And recently, the FDA sent a recall for about 80,000 pounds of the buttered material because of its dangerous labeling. Dangerous labeling, I hear you asking, producer Corbin. Well, as you may or may not know, any materials which contain, or any products, any foods that contain allergenic materials have to be clearly labeled on the packaging. And this Kirkland signature brand butter did not disclose to the average consumer that it contained milk. I may hear you saying to yourself, why all butter is made with milk? And yes, you would be correct. But that is the reason that the FDA cited for getting rid of and recalling 80,000 pounds of butter. Hey, if they want to dispose of the butter, they can dispose of as much as they want to at my house, because butter these days is pretty expensive. And I use a lot of it to cook steaks, to cook scrambled eggs, to do baking, to do other stuff with. So if you want to dispose of that dangerous unlabeled butter, go ahead and bring it over to the Hatcher household. And that's why I'm also thrilled that Donald Trump announced Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy would be heading up the new proposed Department of Government Efficiency, otherwise known as DOGE, which is perfect because, of course, Doge is the famed internet meme, the Shiba Inu dog. And now it will be, I guess, the face of a new administration to hopefully roll back ridiculous regulations, just like the one that required Costco to dispose of 80,000 pounds of butter for not revealing that it was made with milk. Thanks for listening to the Tony Kinnett Cast. Ethan Hatcher signing off. Be sure to follow my show at Saturday night on The Circle and watch me